And good morning. Welcome to the K-Files. With me this morning, we've got my guest co-host, Tim Askew. Tim, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
We've also got Lieutenant Harold Phillips and Sergeant Rich. How do you pronounce your last name? Samaji with Halifax County Sheriff's Office. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Good. First, right out the gate, look, special thank you, shout out to Halifax County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Tyree Davis. Please extend to him personally, thank him for allowing y'all to come in and hopefully be a part of this from this point forward.
Absolutely.
The purpose of this show, the purpose behind what we're doing is to help bring fugitives to justice, people who perpetrate crime in our community, hold people accountable for their actions, and just overall, make our community a safer place to live, work, and raise a family. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Sir, absolutely.
And it takes like a tool belt. And this is just one little tool in that belt that we hope that we can use to address and help hold people accountable. I understand you got a couple cases we're going to talk about, and we'll jump in there and talk about them and see what you got.
All right. First one we'll talk about, we had a shooting in Enfield, in Halifax County, of course, on Green Acres Road. It was a bonfire party where 600 to 700 people were there that night. During the course of the night, what we've gathered, a fight broke out, then gunfire. Within that gunfire, 6 people were shot. 1 was killed. Sierra Webb, a 25-year-old female from Halifax County, was killed that night. So during the course of our investigation, we've had not a lot of folks to come forward to want to talk.
That's something that's always amazed me. I've seen this in Rocky Mount. I've seen this in Nash County, Edgecombe, around Pine Tops. They've got a similar situation. Have a gathering of 200, 300, 400 people. You have a shooting break out. Law enforcement rolls up. There's people fleeing, and nobody has seen anything. Nobody can offer up a vehicle description. Nobody can offer up a direction of travel. It's like nobody wants to, take that step forward and help hold somebody accountable for killing somebody.
Very true. Very true.
And being in law enforcement, it's hard to kind of counter that. That's wild. It's just unfortunate that people don't want to cooperate sometimes. Do you think it's out of fear, or do you think it's just people are anti-law enforcement that much, or maybe a little bit of both?
I believe honestly that is a little bit of both. Here lately, society, there's a bad stigma along with law enforcement,
Yeah.
And with any career, there is bad apples in every group, and I'm not saying that there's not any in law enforcement, because absolutely there are, and the good ones despise those bad
That's
ones.
exactly right.
Despise those bad ones because they make the good ones look bad too.
Right.
We try to do our best.
I always told folks on the patrol, look, we'll get along fine. Just don't never do anything illegal or unethical around me and put me in the situation to have to tell on you.
Exactly.
Because I will.
That's right.
I will.
That's right. Absolutely.
So that's always been my rule of thumb. I'm not going to go down because of, what we call a bad apple in law enforcement. I will be that guy who steps forward and says, you need to, your eye on this guy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, not enough of that is done.
Yep.
And then you end up like society is now with the way they view us.
Yeah.
Us being law enforcement in general.
And people skeptical of coming forward and cooperating in an investigation. And and I know almost every case in that book that's unsolved, the slightest little bit of information, that slightest tip could break every case in that book. And
Absolutely.
it's just encouraging that one person to come forward, take that first step, make an anonymous call, get paid. Team Cold case pays up to $10,000. Look, we'll meet you, bring you a cash, we'll bring you a check. We don't want your name, we don't want your information. We just want to pay you for good information to help bring closure and bring these people to justice.
That's right.
And that's what Team Cold Case is all
And,
about.
families need,
They do.
and I hate that. I don't like the phrase closure.
Yeah.
Because you never get closure when you got a family member that gets senselessly murdered.
Yeah.
It's senseless. But it is somewhat of closure when the family knows that this person that has done this to my child, my wife, my husband, they've been caught.
Yeah.
They've been, justice is go through the court system, and justice has run its course, but you're still missing that family member.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that, and you speak about that little piece of the case. I tell people all the time, a lot of times, we have leads and we're moving forward and we have people of interest and all that. And sometimes just the littlest minute detail ties everything together and gives us enough to do something with the case.
Yep.
So you can't emphasize enough that if you know something, please come forward with it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that, people think, well, they've already been told that or whatever. As much information, even repetitive information,
They think it's
there's always
insignificant.
another detail in there.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing too small. Nothing's too small, because something small turn out very big.
I preach on this program. If you see something, say something.
Absolutely.
Because you might hold the key to breaking the biggest case in this area, and it could be right there at your fingertips. A lot of times cases like this plays on people's conscience for years, and they're like, you know what? Once and for all, I've got to get this off my conscience. I'm sick, I'm dying, whatever. I need to come forward with this information. Or boyfriend, girlfriend break up. Hey, you know how that axe falls.
Yes, sir.
Share that information, and let's hold these people accountable.
Right.
Without getting too deep in it, you kind of got some pieces to the puzzle. You just need a little help, kind of.
Yeah, JP, if we could just get, 600 to 700 people, somebody saw something.
Yes, it is.
Somebody saw people with guns.
Yeah.
Somebody saw them pointing it. Somebody saw them shooting it. You don't have to come and just tell us. I mean, we've got ways around it. We've got Crime Stoppers. We've got a P3 app you can go on your phone. You could go on our website, do an anonymous tip.
What is the
And
Crime
you
Stoppers
still
up your
get
way?
paid for it.
Yeah.
You get paid for that information,
What is the Crime Stoppers up in Halifax?
Yes, HalifaxCountyCrimeStoppers.org.
Okay.
The phone number is 252-583-4444.
Gotcha. And these people can remain anonymous. Team Cold Case, if it's good information, we'll step in. We'll pay up to $10,000. Tell me about this app you just mentioned.
The P3 app is an app you can get on your phone through Google Play or Apple.
Okay.
Download it on your phone. It's a free app. It don't cost you a dime. And all you do, you go in there and you follow, just follow the guidelines on it, matching you. It's a cool app. It really is a cool app. When you go on the app, it's got your tips. You hit the tips. You can put your information in there with the information you want to give.
I've never heard of it. It's called
Yep.
what now?
P3.
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 Okay.
You just put your information that you want to give. You remain anonymous. You get a number. And if anything comes out of the tip that you sent, you get paid.
That's what I'm talking about.
And it's nobody knows who you are. And you can also keep track of, if you put a tip in, you can keep track of that. So you can go back to the app, check your number, see if anything's come from your number. And if so, if it's hit, you got good information, you get paid, you get paid.
And that's what I don't understand. Everybody likes money. If I knew something, I'm just being honest. If I was one of these people, this party, let me tell you something. Especially if I had some good information, I'd be getting paid. I would.
Yes, sir.
I would. And I wish more people would look at it that way.
Well, doing the right thing's doing the right thing,
That's
actually.
right.
But money, when money's going to pay out, then if you don't feel like you want to get your name out there,
Yeah.
that I saw this, but I need to tell somebody, it's out there, folks. Use it. Use it. Help someone's family.
Tell us about this other case. Are you working at Sarge?
Yes, sir. First off, I'd just like to say that I appreciate y'all inviting us here today to discuss these cases. At Halifax County, we have approximately maybe 15 to 20 cold cases dating back to 1970.
Okay.
And they're a challenging project to work on. Victims are still victims, and family members are still family members,
Yeah.
even after almost 50 years.
Yeah.
Sheriff Tyree Davis, after he took office, he implemented a cold case investigator, which is the position that I hold.
Okay.
I do not work on regular cases, just current homicides and cold cases.
Gotcha.
So my full attention is looking at things in the past and trying to regenerate leads. Some of it, the biggest challenge is just recontacting witnesses and
I'm
family
sure,
members and
I'm
stuff
sure.
from many years ago. And I encourage people that are family members to cases from years ago, please reach out, call the office, ask to speak with me. I would love to get some more updated information. And obviously anybody with any tips as to what took place years ago, the Crime Stoppers, as Harold's talking about, and the P3 app. The case I wanted to talk about today is a gentleman by the name of John Jermaine Osby. He was reported missing the 9th of December 2019. He was last seen on the 5th of December in 2019 at approximately 9 p.m. in the town of Weldon. This case was reported to the Weldon Police Department, which they investigated. On the 16th of December, Monday morning, Weldon organized a search for the gentleman, for Mr. Osby. The Northeastern Search and Rescue Team came with their volunteers. There was quite a few people that turned out to do the search. They divided these people up in groups and assigned areas. They went out into the town and into the wooded areas. And at about 11 o'clock on that day, the 16th of December in 19, they found Mr. Osby. He was deceased in a wooded area in the 1000 block of Sycamore Street in the town of Weldon, but it was sheriff's jurisdiction. So the Halifax County Sheriff's Department is conducting the investigation into this incident. We've had a few leads we've been following up on. Mr. Osby was found deceased of a single gunshot wound to the chest. Evidence at the scene, it appears that the homicide occurred somewhere else, and that he was dumped in this wooded area.
Right.
So
I believe we were talking about in the hall. This is actually one of the cases inside of the team cold case book, right?
yes, sir, it is.
We had a Nash County deputy on a few weeks ago, and they were going over some files from like the 70s and all. A lot of times, in law enforcement, when you fall upon a cold case from 50 years ago, our report writing then versus now was somewhat limited. Do you run into that, like missing, the report maybe is not as detailed, or pictures missing, things like that?
Oh, absolutely. Back in those days, we didn't have the computer systems with stored data.
Yeah.
So basically, information was scratched out on a notebook page,
Right.
and
In a file.
it might be in a small 4x3 notebook, so the piece of paper's dropped in the file, and it falls out.
Right.
Um,
Have you got a
it's-
few more minutes, guys?
Yeah,
We're going
absolutely.
to take a real quick break, and we're going to talk about a few more things, and we'll have you on your way.
All right,
All
that
right.
sounds good.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Make any day special by coming into Ribeye Steakhouse in Nashville. Come on in and enjoy our legendary tender and juicy Omaha Angus ribeyes. And try and share our seafood entrees, your choice of shrimp, flounder, or oysters. And especially don't forget our famous salad bar with all your favorite fixins. If you want to give that someone special something to revel in, Ribeye's gift certificates can be made to order. And as you're looking for somewhere to host a business meeting or special event, you can reserve the Angus Room. Ribeye Steakhouse of Nashville, over 10 years of great food.
I'm Daniel Moss, owner of Cornerstone Funeral Home, and I'd like to invite you and your family to give our family an opportunity to serve you in your time of need. And we offer a full line of funeral services, everything from visitations to graveside services to cremations on site with a live crematory, as well as a banquet hall to meet the catering needs of our families that we serve. We offer catering service. We offer refreshments prior to visitation and services of our family. And we want to invite you to come and experience the difference here at Cornerstone Funeral Home.
What is the Davis Furniture difference? The difference is we buy with you in mind. For generations, we have listened to our customers. We can help you find the look you want for every room in your house. Quality, style, color, and of course, service. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Davis Furniture, the family business where we treat you like family. Let us help you make your house a home. Davis Furniture, historical downtown Rocky Mount, on the corner of Hill and Main.
And welcome back. Before we went to break, we were talking about, a lot of times when you dove into older, cold cases from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, administrations change. You have new department heads. Taking reports back then was probably maybe not a real big, priority. Tell us about, some of the biggest things you run into as being a cold case investigator, how you deal with this missing information or information that was maybe never collected in the 70s.
Well, first off, what I do with a cold case is I review all the evidence that's in that file that we have stored at the sheriff's office. You want to go through and see that the new technology, your DNA testing, some advancements in latent prints and stuff like that we're dealing with now. The first thing is to see if there's evidence that needs to be resubmitted. Are there results from evidence that was already submitted?
Right.
And then, of course, the accountability and locating and confirming that you still have that evidence.
Right.
Some of the things that we encounter is, back in the day, we didn't know that some of this technology was going to be available to us. And, sometimes the evidence wasn't preserved the way that we do it now.
Right.
So it's a lot of going back through the original evidence, making sure you have it, submitting it for testing that's available now that wasn't available then. And, hopefully, we get some results on that. The other thing is as we talked about, accountability for all the documentation that's in there.
Yeah.
You look through parts of the case and it'll make reference to something, so you want to make sure that that something is still in the file. And then, obviously, with me, it's real important to maintain family contact.
Right.
The family You know, years ago this happened, and sometimes folks are very surprised to hear from me after years and years. And it's not that their case was pushed to the side. You know, it's just with this new program that we have at Halifax, there's somebody that has the time and has the ability to be able to follow up on it. You know, we get new cases all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll get crime trends that we need to address, and it takes from your manpower. And, you know, in this day in law enforcement, you know, we're kind of still working with the same amount of tools that we did years ago, but the demand for us is increasing every day.
But you know, that phone call to that family member from a case from the 70s or the 80s or 20 years ago, that phone call has got to put some type of positive feeling to know that somebody somewhere is still reviewing this case.
They ain't give up on it.
That's right.
That's right.
You know?
Exactly right.
So I'm glad to hear that y'all are doing this in Halifax. I mean,
And even if you know, you don't have a lead,
that's
you know,
right.
you don't have any news,
Right.
anything different. Just the mere fact that, you know, somebody's looking at
That's
it,
right.
and you know, and that the department cares enough to reach out to you, and you know, see how things are going. What have you heard? You know, how's so and so, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, I get some really positive feedback on my conversations with these people, and you know, I give them a number they can reach me at, you know, if they have a concern or they hear something, and I get a lot of return calls. I get more than I thought I would have, but it's a very positive thing, and I think it's working well, and I'm pretty optimistic that we're going to be able to close some of these cases.
Well, now, you know, like I was telling you, me and Sergeant Askew, we worked on the patrol side most of our career, so we didn't really work homicides and B&Es and missing persons like y'all do. Okay, my thing is, say for instance you're reviewing a case from the 70s or the 80s, and there's a statement in there, and you need to get in touch with this guy, and it's very important that you get in touch with him, and you learn through the course of reviewing it that he's deceased.
Yes, sir.
How does that play in maybe prosecuting or bringing charges? In other words, everything has kind of fell into place. Is that statement or that evidence admissible? How is that?
Well, what I do is I look at it as if someone knew something that we got a statement from, he told somebody else.
Okay.
So, you know, we try to corroborate the information. Now, you know, you get into the hearsay rules and all this other stuff in the courtroom. You know, people can argue that, but, you know, we try to, like I say, corroborate and confirm statements that were made years ago. And honestly, when you talk to someone, they don't remember everything
Yeah.
that they said at the time. So it's an interesting, you know, even just last night, I spent quite a bit of time on the phone talking with an old investigator from Halifax that's retired now. And he worked on a lot of these cases. So the other thing that I've been doing is reaching out to some of the retired guys, because, you know, these cases, they become a part of our lives. I mean, you know, we think about them in our sleep.
Yeah.
We're always, well, what can I do next? What else is available to me?
A lot of
Who did I
sleepless
not
nights.
talk
yeah.
to? So, you know, I've actually reached out, and I've spoke to a retired investigator last night that was the original investigator on some of these cases. So, I mean, there's a lot that you can do, but, you know, you got to be a little creative.
Yeah.
And just do whatever opportunity opens up to you.
Well, I've always said law enforcement, to make it work and work well, is all about relationships and the way you interact with surrounding agencies, friendships, relationships, that open dialogue of communication. It's like we were talking earlier. People who live in Rocky Mount don't just perpetrate crime in Rocky Mount.
Yeah.
They'll get in their car if the opportunity arrives. They'll drive to Weldon. They'll drive to Halifax. They'll drive to Nashville, and vice versa. That's why it's important that these law enforcement agencies, you know, keep that line of communication. Because I guarantee you, Rocky Mount is working cases today that involve Halifax in some shape, form, or fashion, and vice versa. And that's where things like this show come into play, like that book come into play.
Well, that's why it's very important also that, you know, when you go out into the community and you're talking to people, you know, you're human just like they are. You know, don't talk down to
That's
people.
right.
Don't make them feel, you know, let them know what you're trying to do. You know, let people know what you know, obviously to a certain extent, you know, there's things we just can't discuss for case integrity.
Yeah.
But, you know, communicate with people, talk to them, build a relationship. Maybe this person that you talked to today, you didn't get a whole lot of information out of that contact. But a year, and this, I'm sure this has happened to Harold also, a year, 6 months, 2 years later, you're working on a completely different case. But that person you talked to before, you know, they go, you know what? He was a good guy back then. Let me share some information with him. And a lot of closure comes out of that, case closure.
Well, again, thank you for what you do. Clearly, Halifax is lucky to have both of you. Again, extend to the sheriff our gratitude for allowing y'all to come and participate. We're having as I was telling you earlier, I know the sheriff has helped in the past. He makes an appearance. Team Cold Case is doing a fundraiser at Rocky Mountain Mills. I believe it's April 29th. Y'all come on out if you've never been before. It's Nash, Edgecombe, Halifax usually kind of puts it on and bring the family. It's door prizes. Kids absolutely love it. Music, a lot of good food, vendors. But again, thank you for what you do. And
If I may, real quick,
Sure.
I'd like to just add one thing.
Sure.
Tomorrow, no, Friday.
It's Friday.
That's
Yeah.
tomorrow, right? Friday from 11 to 1, there's a hot dog lunch fundraiser sale for the Halifax County Crime Stoppers.
okay,
And that'll run from 11 to 1.
Uh-huh.
And it'll be in the 800 block of Jackson Street in Roanoke Rapids. So
Okay.
if you're up that way, and really appreciate the support, help our Crime Stoppers program.
absolutely, absolutely. Now, what's that number again?
It's 252-583-4444.
Got you.
Our crew with Crime Stoppers in Halifax, man, they are awesome group of folks. They meet every month. I know they talk to each other every single day. They've always got something going on, trying to raise money to make payouts, you know.
And it takes money.
They are a great group of folks. Great group of folks. They help us out with that. So we appreciate them.
Well, anything that we can do to help you, let us know. We'll be glad to kind of help any way that we can. Again, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Tim, anything?
Tickled.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, me and Tim's going to kind of talk about a few cases in the book, and we'll go from there.
At P.O. Woodard in historic downtown Wilson, we've always prided ourselves on doing things the old-fashioned way. Customer service, hard-to-find items, on-site repair are what we're known for. For your manicured lawns, Exmark and Echo make a great team. And for that finished look, get your pine straw and mulch, grass seed and fertilizer. P.O. Woodard & Company, downtown Wilson. I'm Jimmy Miller with P.O. Woodard & Company. Come experience the difference of shopping with us.
Shop local at Trade It in Small Shops Mall. Trade It is stocked full of gently used items, all backed by a 30-day warranty. Plus, when you shop at Trade It and you bring some items you're not using anymore, you can get paid in cash on the spot. Next door, you can shop nearly 100 local merchants selling a variety of goods. Or you can open your own retail store at Small Shops Mall with no long-term lease.
Locals shop local at Trade It and Small Shops Mall.
No one ever wants to go into a life emergency. In fact, many of us wouldn't even know what to do if we were faced with an emergency, but they will come. Thankfully, there's men and women that train every single day for moments like this. They work on our behalf to serve and protect our local communities. Hi, I'm Kevin Zander from Don's Body Shop and Auto Body Wilson. With everything that's going on in life right now, we just want to take a moment to thank our first responders, for those that pledged their lives to serve and protect in our communities. You know, we all expect people to do their jobs, but some people's occupations may even require them to give of their life as a sacrifice. For this reason, we also want to honor those families that lost a loved one in the line of duty. Our thoughts and our prayers are with you. Let us not take these servants for granted. To our first responders, again, we say thank you. From our nurses to our military, we appreciate your service. And as a local business owner, I pray that we continue to work together and strive for an emergency-free community. Thank you, and God bless.
Have you recently gotten engaged? Congratulations! The next big step is choosing your venue. Smith's Pavilion of Dorchester is a premium wedding venue that includes a ceremony site, bandstand, indoor and outdoor reception area. Their newest addition is a bridal suite and groom's room. They also have an in-house chef to meet your culinary needs. Smith's Pavilion of Dorchester, where we celebrate life's greatest events.
The tank is on E, and your low tire pressure light is glaring at you again. You do not have time to wait in line and pay to put air in the tires, and you certainly don't want to get out of the car in the cold and pump gas. What if you could pull up to a gas pump and have an attendant run out to greet you to pump your gas, clean your windshield, and put air in the tire, all for no extra charge, while you step inside and enjoy a made-to-order breakfast or lunch? Does that kind of full service exist anymore? It does, at JD's Grocery & Grill, a service station created to bring back the full service experience to all customers. JD's Grocery & Grill is a full service gas station, eat-in restaurant with tasty made-to-order food, and a grocery store all in one. The staff at JD's Grocery & Grill is ready to field all requests and will help you find anything you need. Call them today at 252-972-5000 or stop on by at 1240 Atlantic Avenue. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Grill hours, Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. JD's Grill & Grocery, at the heart of great food.
And welcome back. Great group of guys from
Absolutely.
Halifax County Sheriff's Office.
Awesome. It's nice for them to bring up the cold case part, but the comfort the family must receive, you know, not having it swept up under the rug.
Yep, that one little phone call.
That's it.
So again, shout out to Halifax County Sheriff Tyree Davis, Lieutenant Harold Phillips, Sergeant Rich Samoji. Thanks for coming on, making it happen. And from what I understand, they're going to be part of a every fourth week rotation.
Help get the word
Be
out.
glad to have you. Also, kind of touching base, if you know anything about the two cases or any Halifax County case that we discuss here on the show, you can call with your tip to Halifax County Crime Stoppers 252-583-4444 or Fighting Crime 252-406-6736. Or Twin County Crime Stoppers 252-977-1111. Anyway, something that we talked about briefly was the fundraiser. I mean, to make this show work, to make these books, to really put this thing together, it takes money to pay out.
That's right.
And you know, we like to pay good money for good tips to bring people to justice. We've got a fundraiser scheduled for April 29th at Rocky Mount Mills. Nash County Sheriff's Office, Halifax County Sheriff's Office, Edgecombe County, and Rocky Mount Police Department's going to be there. Maybe some other small town police departments, we don't know. A lot of good prizes. I just brought in a brand new 32 quart nice cooler.
Yes,
nice
sir.
cooler.
Very nice cooler.
Got 5 $100 gift certificates for concealed carry class. If you're not carrying concealed, you need to be.
Yes.
Because the life that you save could be that of your own or that of a loved one. Look at what happened in Tennessee this past week.
Sad.
Not that a concealed carry would have helped, but what if you happen to witness something like that about to unfold here in Rocky Mount, at Walmart, in your home, at the mall? you have to take responsibility in keeping yourself and your family safe. Do you have the training? Do you have the mindset? Do you have what it takes to keep yourself safe when that time comes? None of us have a crystal ball to know when something's going to unfold like that.
That's exactly right.
Did you see the body cam?
I did, no, I saw the school cam.
Okay, my son was showing me the body cam. Number one, hats off to Tennessee because they didn't play. From the time the 911 call was made 14 minutes later, that subject was dead.
Yes, exactly right.
They went into that school, textbook, started clearing rooms, clearing halls, and they went to the sound of the gunshots.
That's exactly right.
And I'm telling you, if you've not seen it, go on YouTube. They go to the sound of the shots. She's on the second, the shooter's on the second floor, I believe.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, that officer rounds that corner with that rifle, and the suspect was doing a magazine change.
Perfect timing.
Let me tell you something, lit her up, or him up. But anyway,
Always be prepared.
That's right. That's right. We're going to talk about a case or two this morning, Tim, and share it with our audience. Again, folks, anytime we talk about a case, if you know something, please say something, get paid. The numbers I shared earlier, text to tip, Rocky Mount Police Department, 274-637. The smallest tip could bring closure in one of these cases, bring somebody to justice. I'm going to talk about Elizabeth Jane Smallwood. This case is from 2008. Elizabeth Jane Smallwood's remains were found along Milton Drive in Rocky Mount in February 2009. Police state that she could have been exposed to the elements for as much as a year before she was found. She didn't stay in contact with her family, so it's really unclear exactly when she went missing. The medical examiner stated that given the conditions in which she was found, Smallwood's death was highly suspicious for homicidal violence. The official cause of her death remains undetermined. Her death has been rumored to be a part of the murders of Antoine Pittman that he committed around that same time frame. However, Pittman has yet to be charged in this case. There's a picture here, Elizabeth Jane Smallwood's a black female. She appears to be, I'm going to say 30 years old, give or take. Again, she was missing for somewhere up to about a year. Folks, if you know something, please reach out to those numbers, say something. You know, I can't imagine a family member or a loved one just to randomly go missing.
Exactly. There's something behind it.
You know,
always is.
Yeah. You know, I would think about them, you know, constantly. Where are they at right now? What are they alive? Are they safe?
Right.
Are they hungry? You know, why haven't they called? Why haven't they reached out to? Why haven't I seen them? These people, this family, I mean, I feel for them.
So many options. It could be from mental issues to violent ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be anything.
And
That's
look, it very well could be another Pittman case.
Oh, exactly.
You know,
it could be added right there to his, exactly.
I would lean towards that more so than not. It sounds like she follows
the MO.
Yeah.
That modus operandi.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The other case that we were going to talk about is Alton Lee Harper. This case is from September 4th, 2009. Alton Lee Harper, who was 57 years old at the time, was staying at his daughter's boyfriend's residence at 4817 Crepe Myrtle Street in Battleboro when his daughter heard glass break. When she investigated the sound, she found an unknown suspect had entered the home and was pointing a gun at her father and demanding money. The daughter complied with the robber, gave him an undisclosed amount of money. She reported that her father left the residence and attempted to follow the suspect, who had fled on foot. She then called the police about 1 a.m. The victim returned to the residence as police were interviewing his daughter. The report described the victim as being very, very excited, breathing heavily, and further stated it was difficult to understand the responses to the officer's questions. The victim was heard to yell out loudly and fall to the floor in the kitchen area of the residence. Resuscitation was initiated by the police on scene. Nash County EMS arrived at 1:25 a.m. to find the victim unresponsive with no vital signs. Resuscitation was unsuccessful, and the death was pronounced at 2:29. The patient experienced severe cardiovascular stress initiated by the criminal episode in which he had witnessed and been a part of, the home invasion by an armed intruder who threatened him and his daughter with death to accomplish a robbery. His death has been ruled a homicide. Murder rule. Felony.
That's exactly right.
Murder rule. Basically scared the man to death.
You sit back and you look, some people handle stress better than others.
Yeah.
But in a situation like that, you get an older gentleman, don't know his health record and all that, but that's homicide.
Yeah.
You go in there and you pretty much scared the man to death.
And they did. You know, me and Miss Sandra have talked about this, and I've never made it a secret. This is my biggest fear, and I don't have many, and that is a home invasion. Because, you know, you don't know it's happening until it's happening, until someone's kicking your front door in.
That's right.
And 2 or 3 or 4 subjects are coming in. Your family is scattered. Everybody's in their bedroom. Somebody might be in the shower. Somebody might be upstairs. Your wife might already be in the bed. Okay. That's a bad situation.
It is. And your sights go completely away from you because you don't even care about you at that point. It's that family you're trying to protect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you know, we're seeing more and more home invasions.
Yes, you are.
Not just here. I mean, everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Bad situation.
Yes, it is.
So they came in, demanded money. She paid them.
He goes and looks
He
for
goes
adrenaline
out
up.
on foot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this case again is from September 4th, 2009, Alton Lee Harper. 57 years old at the time, 4817 Crepe Myrtle Street in Battleboro. Folks, if you know something, please share that information with law enforcement. You know, this is what, 20 years ago, 20 plus years.
What's it,
2009.
2009, yeah. But
Please.
you know, his daughter would really love some comfort and a little bit of that closure that she won't have fully.
Well,
But
just seeing somebody held accountable for this.
exactly.
Because right now she knows that whoever did this, they're out here, you know, running the streets.
Running the roads and have been for years.
And I guarantee you, if they did this, whoever did this, they didn't just stop that night. They're still going strong.
They were in some other burglary or break-in or something.
So again, if you know something about Alton Lee Harper case, September 2009, please do the right thing. We've talked about this case a time or two as well. Jermaine Lynch, squared away, sharp-looking kid. Jermaine Lynch, this case is from September 8th, 2009, around 11:08 p.m. Rocky Mount Police Department was dispatched to a shooting on the corner of Tom's Trail and Travis Run in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. When law enforcement arrived, they found Jermaine Lynch suffering from a gunshot wound. During the investigation, they determined that the shooting stemmed from a robbery. The suspects were 4 to 6 black males. One male was between 45 and 50 years old with a thin build and a grayish beard. The suspects tried to rob Jermaine as he was next to a van. he was shot and then ran from the scene to where he was found by law enforcement. 4 to 6 people jumped him. You know, they could have just as easily robbed him without killing him.
Without killing him.
Like I say, handsome young man, squared away, neat appearance, black male, killed over
Senseless.
nothing.
Yep.
September 8th, 2009, 11:08 p.m.
Rob a man.
Tom's Trail. Do you know where Tom's Trail and Travis Run is in Rocky Mount? I do not.
I want to say it's in the old area 512, which was over towards Gold Rock Road. I want to say it's back over there, but I don't remember. It's been so long.
Here's a case, Tony Wilkins. Tony Wilkins. This case is from June 30th, 2010. It's another Rocky Mount PD case. Around 9:10 a.m., Rocky Mount Police was called when a neighbor heard a gunshot coming from 520 Cascade Avenue, apartment D in Rocky Mount. When they arrived, they found Tony Wilkins, 41, laying on the floor of his apartment between the living room and the kitchen. A neighbor saw someone go to the door just earlier, and Wilkins let that person in. Moments later, the neighbor hears gunshots. Not only did the suspect shoot Wilkins 2 times in the face and head, but the suspect took a knife and stuck it in the back of Wilkins' neck. The knife was still in his neck when police arrived. This insinuates that the person was really angry at Wilkins to not only shoot him, but to stab him as well. Yeah, that's what I call rage.
No doubt.
And they wanted to make sure that they
Finished the job.
that they did it.
Yes, they did.
Cascade, I want to say that runs off of Old Wilson Road.
Cascades used to be off between South Church Street and Nashville Road.
Okay.
I mean, where Nashville cuts down, but it also crosses on Raleigh Road back
Okay.
there. So it's in that area down south way.
God, man,
I'm telling you
that's hardcore.
that's
And these people who did this, they're around us.
exactly.
You know, this could be the same person that you trigger at a red light or at a stop
And then
sign.
with a road
Right,
rage,
that's
you're
right.
exactly right. If you get snapped that bad and
And again, folks, that's
That
why
angry?
it's important that you carry concealed right here.
exactly.
Okay, these people are amongst us. Again, Tony Wilkins, if you know anything about the Tony Wilkins case, from June 30th, 2010, around 9:10 a.m., Cascade Avenue, apartment D, Rocky Mount, shot multiple times and stabbed in the back of the neck. Folks, if you know something, text your tip to Rocky Mount PD 274-637. It'll be anonymous. They won't know who's sending the information, who's sending the text. Reach out to Twin County Crime Stoppers 252-977-1111. You might think that, well, the information that you know, Rocky Mount probably already don't think that way. You may have the information to this case or any other case that we've talked about that could break it. Get paid up to $10,000 for the information that you have, and let's bring a little bit of closure to these families, and let's hold these people accountable that is perpetrating fear in our community.
Yeah, especially that type of violence. I mean, these people that know something should say something, because how they gonna feel if this man doesn't get caught and he kills one of their family members in the
exactly
same?
right.
It's a big circle.
Like we were talking with Halifax earlier.
Exactly.
I can't wrap my head around 2, 3, 4, what did he say? 600 people.
600 people and not
Drive-by shooting. Law enforcement rolls up on the scene. They can't find anybody to give a vehicle description, direction of travel, suspect. I don't understand that.
I don't either.
I don't understand it. I don't understand.
But the way that person to get caught is he'll end up doing the same thing to somebody else's family, and then they gonna say something then.
I would argue that by not sharing the information, you are empowering this criminal behavior. And it's gonna only get worse and worse and worse. And to the point that it's out of control. You have to hold people accountable for their actions. Again, I've said this before, I don't care if it's elected officials, I don't care if it's your children, I don't care if it's law enforcement holding each other accountable. You have to hold people accountable for their actions. You have to. You know, you go to making exemptions or turning a blind eye and it only spirals out of control.
And that questions your own integrity if you don't. Exactly.
Well, then, you know, a lot of times the people who cry the loudest, you know, about needing help in their community, they're the very people who don't want to come forward and, you know,
do the right thing.
I've always said take ownership in your community. You know,
that's
take
exactly
ownership.
right. And, that's exactly right. Make your community better.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do.
Tim, as always, it was great to see you. Thanks for coming on,
pleasure, brother.
And
pleasure.
Helping me out. I know Miss Sandra appreciates it. The viewers, as always, I appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Anytime.
I hope, everybody enjoyed the show today, and we'll see you next week.
Stay safe.